look at the individual kid.
Right.
What are their strengths? What are the weaknesses? What do we want to work on? What's best for them? Where are they going to thrive the most?
Yes.
And, we're big on giving more choice to families to be able to choose the system.
Yeah.
Smart Money Parenting.
Hey guys, Scott Donnell here. Welcome back to Smart Money Parenting. This episode is also a little bit different. We interviewed our publisher, Kary Oberbrunner, on his 3 kids and some of the conversations he has with them around money. It's a really powerful conversation that Chad and I had in Chicago. The room is a little loud, so you're going to hear a few other noises because it was a crowded space. But I think you're going to get a lot of value out of this episode, and hope you enjoy.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Smart Money Parenting. I got my friend Chad here today.
What's up, guys?
And we have a special guest on today's episode, Kary Oberbrunner. Kary is a good friend of ours.
Yes.
He actually published my book, Value Creation Kid, which we've been talking about on the podcast recently. And we're here today to talk with Igniting Souls, right? That's their main company.
Absolutely.
Igniting Souls. So if you want to write a book, we're talking today about education. So how many kids do you have, Kary?
3 kids, 17, 15, and 13. Oh, that's a perfect gravy stack age right there. 17, 15,
there you go.
13.
Boy,
I like
girl,
it.
girl.
Boy, girl.
And you were talking about education, right? We were talking about schools, talking about which schooling system is the best.
Yes.
Is private education the best? Is homeschooling the best? Is public schools the best?
Is it worth it to even spend that kind of money or that kind of time on the private or
A
homeschool?
lot of parents are split on this one. This is a tough one.
It is.
Right?
It
Some parents, I'll just frame it because I've been in the education system forever.
Yeah.
Some parents want the public education environment with new friends and overcoming obstacles and getting the right public education and the systems there. Other families are like, forget it. We're going homeschool.
Yeah.
I want them to learn what I want them to learn.
That's right.
I don't want them to get any of the issues that are in the public education system. Other families say we want to mix of both. So we're going to go like the private or the charter route, give our kids kind of the best of communication, social skills, the sports side in sort of a private, protected environment.
Absolutely.
Different camps here, different reasons and benefits for each. What did you choose?
Yeah. So until this past year, we chose the Christian school. We felt like it would be it would be a congruent fit. We would be teaching one thing at home, then they would go to school and it would reinforce it instead of like, ooh, wait, there's a disconnect going on. Because with young kids, that could be confusing at times.
Sure.
So that was cool, and everything was going great until the beginning of last summer when our kids came to us and 2 of them said, hey, we want to switch schools. What was your first thought when they came to you with that proposal? I thought, are they old enough to be making their own decision? Yeah.
Who are you?
Right? Because at that time,
Which
kids were they? So it was the 2 oldest. 2 oldest. And nothing against the Christian school that they were at. But our kids really didn't connect, the older 2 kids. And, some were in sports earlier, but I don't know. We kind of saw this thing that once they got into high school, just all these groups started to happen, and I'm not blaming it on the school or anything, but like they didn't really connect a lot. And so sure enough, they started to connect with my son, with the other public school kids in the neighborhood. And they received him really well. And so they started playing basketball together in the neighborhood in the summer. And they started playing cards and stuff like that, just connecting. Just
build our friendship.
Yeah. And they all said, hey, why don't you come to the public school? And so that was that. And then my daughter said, hey, there's girls at church. I'm connecting with them. And they actually are telling me that I should go to the other Christian school across town. And so here we are. Everything was fine. Like one parent driving one place.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden we got to think about it, pray about it, and say, should we switch it up?
Wow. Well, that's crazy. I think, my wife was a first grade and third grade teacher in the public system for 5 years. We've served 10,000 schools in Apex.
Wow.
So we've seen this, and I feel like it comes down to the kid and the community.
Yeah.
If you can boil it down to having the kid thrive, that can really be across the board. I mean, there's great A+ schools. To force a kid through that, right? Saying, no, sorry, you can't have these friends.
Yes.
You can only do this thing. Because
It creates rebellion.
it could create rebellion. Helping them think through this with you. Is this a decision where I'm copping out?
Right.
Am I bailing? Is it too hard because I'm not putting in the work?
Yeah.
Or is it just the wrong environment for me?
And in a small Christian school, parents could honestly care more about what other people think about them. Like, hey, you're not going to leave, because what does that say about us? So we just thought about it, and we did the research, and we met with principals of each, and we sat down and listened, and we felt total peace. Sending our oldest to the public school, and he's done super well. And then sending our daughter to the other much smaller Christian school, she's done super well. So felt amazing. It was a stressful time in our house. It's a lot of change. Change can be stressful, but I'm really glad that we listened to the kid.
Why would you say one size doesn't fit all? Like, why is
Yeah.
it so useful to customize their experience?
Yeah. So before I was a publisher and an entrepreneur, I used to be a pastor, and I would hear within the church, like the homeschool crowd be like, this is the only way. And then I heard the public school people be like, you guys are just sheltering kid. We're supposed to be a light in the darkness. You guys are just scared. Then I heard the current, like, I've heard it all.
Yeah, I bet.
And so I kind of saw camps. And I think that that's probably the thing that's most hurtful, is to be like, ooh, I'm just going to accept a system and not do anything.
Reject every other
Wow.
path,
Yeah.
basically.
Interesting. Yeah.
I'll say my kids, so we've got 5 kids, and our oldest 2 go to the public high school that's literally a 20-second drive from our house. Like, it's just
Wow.
right down the hill. Our middle son is at a private sports academy, and our youngest 2 are homeschooled.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got
You're all across the
all
board.
over the place, but it's kind of like what you
Uh-huh.
said. It's customizing based on what we feel is best for them. Like
Yeah.
the middle son, like in the private sports academy, they have required meals that they eat at school.
Wow.
They track every single, it's nutrition, it's meal prepping. Really? It's, strength and agility training. It's very disciplined. Most kids would not enjoy what they do.
Right.
I mean, it's military boot camp.
Yeah.
It's a military
Wow.
boot camp for kids who want to kind of play pro sports eventually.
Wow.
So there's only 30 kids in the whole school. Okay. And it's like a nice sports academy, right? The younger 2 are homeschooled. They still want interaction, so they go twice a week to a charter homeschool meetup group. But we have a tutor that comes to the house and does their schooling. So I think what you're saying is that you got to really see what fits for each kid.
It's okay to switch it up if you think you need to. I mean, I think a lot of this has to come down to, look at the individual kid, right? What are their strengths? What are the weaknesses? What do we want to work on? What's best for them? Where are they going to thrive the most?
Yes.
And, we're big on giving more choice to families to be able to choose the system.
Yeah.
I do rebel against everyone has to go this way.
Right.
Because some kids just don't fit the normal system, right? Like I was that way. I could barely read for the first few years, and I struggled. And then all of a sudden I found out I beat my teacher at chess. The first time I played, like I was just a different thinker, and they put me in some special systems that really helped me thrive.
Wow.
And, I think overall kids should learn how to learn. They should learn how to be value creators. They should really learn practical skills and be in an environment where they can build capabilities and confidence to thrive.
That's great.
And that's what you did.
How do you look at education as a whole? You think about, you're very well versed in blockchain and technology and all these AI tools that are coming out in the future. How do you see education in schools as something that you treat as a valuable vehicle for your kids?
Well, and now you're a professor.
I'm moving into the
So
university.
let's
too.
hear your thought on just using the school process and getting the most out of it.
I think that it's wrong to think that every kid should go to college, because I think that that's this big cultural mandate that we put on.
The key to being successful is getting a college degree.
And we look at the financial investment of college and say, is that going to put the right output for? And I think you got to look at the kid. One kid might be like, I want to be in the trades. Well, why put all that extra debt? Or I've known really good kids say, I'm going to the military, and what if somebody says, I'm not doing college, I'm doing a gap year. But I think that as a young person, there's so much pressure. And then you go to these college graduation or these high school graduation parties where it's like, well, what do you do?
Oh,
What do you do?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
And
Where are
then
you going
it's
to
like,
school? Where are you going to school?
Yeah.
I wish we could change that conversation because when they answer, they go, I'm going to this school,
Yeah.
which unfortunately can turn into, I'm just going to party for 4 more years and not grow up.
That's true. So I'm taking my son to the EDGE program with strategic coach
There you go.
this summer.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
super.
Education with coaching and with programs like Strategic Coach, with everything that's available on the internet is, in my opinion, going to be much more valuable than sitting in a classroom necessarily and
Absolutely.
memorizing facts out of an old textbook.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So just to say my last thing, I'm proud of you guys. Like, give them a 5-star review. You know, you guys didn't ask me to say that. I feel
Thank you.
like absolutely. Like, if you are getting value from this show, number 1, spread it. Number 2, write a review. But it's tough to be a content creator. I mean, it's a lot of work, and you guys are talking about topics that nobody else is. So I know you got 3 books out.
Books
One's coming
out.
out.
Yeah, thank you.
You got Value Creation Kid, and
Thank you for helping.
Yeah. Beyond the Money.
Yeah, on the Money, most recent book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All
right.
Review chat and then Scott.
There you go. Well, that's your rundown on education.
Awesome. One
Don't
size
be
does not
worried.
fit all.
Do not be worried to have the conversations together. Work it out as a couple. What's best for your kid to put them in an environment to thrive. So that's Kary Oberbrunner. Thanks so much, my friend. And thank you guys for listening, watching, viewing, and subscribing. We'll talk to you next time.
It takes more than money if you want to succeed. You gotta know what to do with it. You gotta take the lead. You gotta give them confidence. You gotta make them smart. If your kids are gonna thrive, now's the time to start. Smart money parenting.